People ask, why do you jump out of a perfectly good airplane? When the door opened, I just remember freezing and being like, oh, this feels wrong, this feels wrong.
We limit ourselves so much in our lives, and most of my life, I've limited myself based on a fear of failing.
I think I just always had a want to just be flying. I was the kid that would take grocery bags and jump down my stairs.
I never thought of myself as like someone who would go skydiving.
I could barely go to school. I had trouble even leaving my bed. I think I was in one of the darkest places I've ever been.
He gave me the nod to let go, and I think I nodded back, and then I just remember letting go. It was an ex-boyfriend's birthday. There was 11 of us. I was the only female. I went through the course full of anxiety and terrified the whole time. I was supposed to be the first one to exit, and I couldn't get out of the plane. So I wrote it back down, and for years it bothered me.
I was going to Robron, and there was a poster that said, write a paragraph on why you'd want to go skydiving, and the winner actually gets to go for a jump.
In high school, I started work experience with Rob in the sewing program, and then he told me he owned the drop zone. I never thought of myself as like someone who would go skydiving. I was never super into like thrill seeking or like adrenaline and stuff. But then Rob one day asked me, he's like, you want to go skydiving? And I was like, oh, sure, like that'll happen, whatever. And then it did, and he took me on a tandem. And it was one of the craziest things I've ever done, for sure.
Awesome! That was incredible! Oh my God! Oh my God! I was under the impression my first jump was going to be a tandem. So my first time I showed up to the drop zone, Rob goes, no, it's a solo jump. And I was absolutely, like, my heart dropped for a second. And I didn't think that I was capable of doing that. And like, I was 16 at the time. My first jump, I was 16, and I won a contest, and I was going solo.
I showed up to the drop zone for my first jump course a week after my tandem. And it was pretty intense. I was nervous to do it for the first time alone. And took us into the classroom, and we went over all the ground training work, different situations you could find yourself under canopy, and they just kind of walked us through what was going to happen. I was 18 at the time, so I was very nervous, very intimidated, feeling a lot of feelings, kind of scared. I was feeling pretty nervous being just this little teenage girl. I'm gonna be a skydiver.
Wearing the rig and feeling how heavy it was, and just being in the gear, I was like, wow, okay, like this is happening. This is what this feels like. This is such a strange feeling.
I remember getting into the plane for the first jump and just being like, oh, it's real, oh, it's real.
Nobody told me about the sound and like the rush of air that comes in. Like nothing's real until like it's just a happy plane ride and we're up to altitude and everybody's a little twitchy, but you're good. And then the door opens. It's terrifying, yeah. Yeah, it was really scary. And then when you go to put your, like even your hands on the door and your foot out, you go to put your foot out and it's moving around if you don't have oomph.
I thought, this is the strongest wind I've ever felt. This is insane, okay? And I held on as tight as I could, and I looked over, and Jesse gave me the little nod, and I looked up, and I was like, okay, here we go. And I let go, and I remember just thinking, arch, arch, arch. And it was like a split second, and then I was underneath canopy. And I think that was one of the most freeing, most incredible, like breathtaking moments ever.
Just felt like it was going against every every one of my natural senses, because, I mean, it is. You're falling out of the sky, and humans really were never supposed to do that. But I think being under canopy is one of my favorite things ever. It's so peaceful, and you're just kind of flying around over top of Campbell River. It's a spectacular view, and you kind of just have more time to think and just be at peace. Something that made skydiving be more comfortable for me was the amount of women that we have at our drop zone, and the amount of strong women in leading roles at the drop zone. It's just incredible to be in an environment that's typically male dominated, but I've found to be filled with so many strong and inspiring women who've just supported me and made me feel so welcome.
The first time I pulled my own parachute, I remember going up into the plane, absolutely like a nervous wreck, so terrified that I was truly in charge of saving my own life, doing what I needed to do. But I was with the girls, and they made me feel so much better. Amy and Karina, being in the plane with them, it was just like a bubbling feeling. I did my first pull, and I landed. As soon as I landed, Amy and Karina ran out to me, and we were all jumping and laughing and screaming and hugging. And it's just yeah, I did this for me, but also I get to share this with these people.
That's when I started to kind of go forward, and I was like, "Okay, pull your chute," and I was like, "Woo!" And I landed, and then everything was great. I feel really good about it. I feel great about my job.
I remember getting in the plane the first couple times, just having this shaky stomach and this feeling of, oh no, what's gonna happen? I have to go skydiving. I'm kind of scared. I don't know, just all the unknowns that were there that made it really terrifying. Then I was told by a coach to visualize my jumps as I'm in the plane going up. You just visualize the whole jump from beginning to landing. That's definitely helped my nerves. Even a year ago, I was definitely not the same person I am today. I dealt with a lot of anxiety and just not confident in myself at all. Being in school or doing group projects were the worst for me, and talking to anyone I didn't immediately know very well was extremely nerve-wracking for me. I'd leave school crying and in this just stressful mess of anxiety and nerves.
I haven't had the easiest start to growing up and everything like that, and I always felt I don't know, it was tough to be alive. A lot of the time, I was just surviving. And every day I'd wake up and I'd be like, okay, I'm just surviving. Feeding myself and caring about myself as a human was so difficult. I think I was in one of the darkest places I've ever been.
There was a time I was talking to a therapist to deal with some eating disorder struggles that I was dealing with. I didn't like what I looked like. I didn't like my body or myself, and it was just this constant kind of a negative voice in my head, just always being like, you can't do this, you're disgusting, you're all these bad things, and it's a very overpowering voice.
As a little kid, my dad also very much supported me in being a little thrill seeker and adrenaline junkie. Ever since I was little, we'd do things together. Unfortunately, he passed away when I was 10 years old, but I always wanted to keep his spirit with me and live in a way that would make him proud, but also just in the way that he taught me to live life to the fullest. I wanted to really live up to that and live my life to the fullest. So when I had this opportunity to go skydiving, I wanted to bring my dad with me. I had a little thing of ashes that stays in a necklace, and I tucked it in the pocket, and I was like, Papa, you're gonna come with me and we're gonna do this together, because my dad was always he was my best friend, and I wanted him to be a part of everything that I did. And being able to go through this big thing, and also just knowing that I had this little trinket of my dad, well, literally of my dad with me, was super impactful.
Surrounding myself with the people at the drop zone has also helped an incredible amount, because they've just make me feel so much better about myself and so much better about my life, and they just remind me why I'm so happy to be here every day, and everything is good and everything's gonna work out.
So much of my life, I felt like who I was censored and had to be pleasing other people and everything like that. But I was like, no, this is for me. And this is my true experience right now. Opening that plane door and jumping out of it made me feel like I could do anything. And it brought me out of that hole, and I was just in the light.
It's all just changed how I think about myself and how I think about life. So yeah, I'm extremely grateful that this has happened. So
turns out sometimes he's stronger alone. Bringing out the fight, yeah, bring on all the lightning. 'Cause I'm looking for a hero, look inside the mirror. I found one. Oh, carry the hurt when it gets too hard.
Keep that hand right over top, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna be falling off.
What's that?
I'm gonna feel like I'm falling off like this. I don't like this at all.
Is that a bad thing?
Yes. Well, no.
Got burned, but I learned our scars make us who we are. Now I'm 10 feet tall over my demons. Remind me no one's got me like myself. Yeah, I love me without any help. I'm the best thing to believe in. So I'm bringing out the fight, yeah, bring on all the lightning. 'Cause I'm looking for a hero, look inside the mirror. I found one. Oh, carry the hurt when it gets too hard. Pick it up, dust it off. When I fall down 11, I get up 12. Don't need nobody else. Yeah, I can save myself. I could crumble into pieces, but I got a million reasons why I won't. 'Cause this heavy is a season, and the sun is always right behind the storm.
I feel you get to do like get ready, and I was like no, and then it was like set, and I was like oh no, and then it was go, and I think that was another one of those like because it was like a different perspective. It was kind of like until I saw my legs like hitting in front of me, and then I punched out, turned over, got stable. I checked my altimeter.
For my packing endorsement, we did it over 2 days. I got to do it with Nikki. I think I packed like 5 confidently. And I walked in the room and I was like, I got this today, Nikki. And she was like, holy crap, she really does have it. And I was doing really good. But then she told me that evening that the last pack job, I had to jump. And for some reason, that changed everything.
Like, this is the real process, though. And you gotta be sure. Wow.
I finally had it packed. Struggling the whole day, like just trying to get it in the bag.
You guys ready to watch my first cutaway?
So when I went to actually jump, I got to jump. Crystal was in the plane. So thankful. And I was really nervous, so nervous. She told me to imagine my canopy opening. She said, like, you're throwing your pilot into the wind and it's hitting the wind and you can feel it pulling, you can feel the bands pulling in your back. And while she was describing it to me in my ear, I could see it. I just envisioned it in the plane and it calmed me right down. And then, yeah, the canopy opened and I've never screamed so loud in my life. That feeling. Jumping your first canopy and being so like hyper aware of it the whole time, that was amazing. It felt so good, so good. It was a really good feeling.
You did a great job. See your checkout jump, and basically all you got to do is have an unstable exit, recovery, and then perform the figure 8 turn.
Fuck yeah, let's do this.
I remember being in freefall with him, and we went over all the maneuvers, and everything was great. And I could hear them screaming under canopy before I had even landed.
I was like, I felt level with him. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, he's getting higher, flatten out. And, he did. He's really proud of you.
So proud of you.
Getting my solo license represents like so much to me. I just wanted to exit the plane and see if I wouldn't faint or pee my pants or die. And then I did that, and then I kept doing it, and then I'm getting a freaking license for it. Like, to even say that you're a skydiver feels surreal, and I feel like a total fraud or something. I don't even think I am, even though I'm at the level I'm at. It's weird.
From my solo to my A license, I was struggling with a couple of the jumps, making contact in the sky with the coach. And I think I had been trying to get one of the jumps done. It was probably like my 4th or 5th try. We dirt dived the jump so many times, and I was feeling so confident getting in the plane. I was like, this is gonna be the one where I'm gonna get it and it's gonna work. And then it didn't. And I remember just being in free fall, trying to get to Rob, not understanding why I couldn't do it, and then realizing, oh, I'm out of time, I've got to pull my parachute. I just turned away from Rob, did my track, pulled the pilot chute, and as soon as my canopy opened, I just burst into tears because I was so tired of struggling and just trying to get it. I was like, I can't do this. And it really sucked because that was the only time I ever felt unhappy under canopy. I landed and I was just very down and out. But then we went back to the hangar, we debriefed the jump, and we just talked about what went wrong, struggling with beating myself up if I can't get something. This sport's kind of humbling me a bit because it's like, you can't do everything, but you can try. I've definitely learned a lot, and yeah, it's pushed me.
One of my biggest goals is to get to my solo and then get to my A. I would love to get to my A. And I feel like I have the confidence now to do whatever I set my mind to.
I have a hard time accepting things, and I love giving, so it's not really healthy.
Yeah, I don't have a fucking home anymore.
With the house fire, it happened on December 27th, just after Christmas. I didn't really tell everybody it happened. I just deleted all my social media to try to kind of step back and focus more on relationships and people in front of me. We were in a hotel directly after the fire, and me and my sister and our dogs were all kind of like huddled up when we were eating dinner. We were super upset about what was happening, and these emails just kept coming, and it was from skydivers. My friend Jessie had reached out to the whole community, and they just kept sending donations. I didn't even have underwear. I didn't have a toothbrush. I didn't have anything. And because of the community getting together and helping me, I was able to be comfortable and, yeah, make up for what I've lost. I've never felt more included or supported or loved. It's the best.
COVID made my grad year extremely weird and awful, and I didn't think going to the ceremony was worth it, so instead I did a helicopter tandem.
Holding your breath still, you jump the fire. We'll just sit and wait till you see me fly. I know you'll never catch me for it.
We did it!
I also got my grad photos taken out at the landing zone. Those are some pretty special photos. It's just me in my prom dress, and then swoopers came flying behind me, and it was so cool. I even got a photo with Amy behind me under canopy.
Best grad day ever.
My most memorable jump was the four-way we planned out with 2 coaches and my dad. It was pretty incredible.
Look at them now, all of the noise they make, counting the cards to 1. Queen of Hearts never
Flying with other humans in the sky it gives you so much more like perspective of what's going on.
might just take a while.
I remember looking across at all three of them and just screaming my head off like, we did it! And it felt so good to set out a plan and we accomplished it and it all worked. And I'm like, these are all my friends in the sky.
Come close.
Skydiving with my dad has been one of the coolest things ever, I think.
Nice!
Actually, him and my brother both did the first jump course together.
Here comes Karina.
Seeing my family get into the sport that I have has been pretty incredible. I think it's brought us closer together, too.
Skydiving is like, it's like Shangri-La. It's like this secret that we have, and everybody's like, it's scary and terrifying, and it's for like adrenaline junkies and like young guys with a lot of money and nothing to do with big egos. But it's not. It's like this secret to happiness, but it's like ours because it's like masked in these lives.
It takes, I think, a certain kind of crazy person to want to jump out of a plane and then get to the ground and do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again, and again, and again. Free fall is just kind of feels like it's just washing away all your past emotions, and it's just when you're all fresh when you hit the ground, and it's an incredible reset for your brain, I feel like. It's just like, yeah, it makes you feel good.
Maybe mom and dad were right when they told me this wouldn't be nothing. Maybe I should take their advice, go get a life, or maybe get a job or something. Pack it up and head back home, tell everybody I was bluffing. Or maybe I'll just get out my head and focus on what I know's coming. Yeah. Cause I can't fall asleep at night without seeing my dreams. Delusion and reality, I'm somewhere in between. These voices in my head get loud and they keep telling me that I'm a fool for trusting in these wings. But maybe, baby, this what flying feels like. Just drinking themselves crazy tonight. Maybe I should call and say, told you I'd be right. Wondering how long it was before you realized the biggest mistake of your life, and now you're paying the price. Oh, is it confidence or confusion? Either way, I feel like I ain't never losing. Your opinion on how you know just what I'm choosing. I gotta do this, cause I can't fall asleep at night without seeing my dreams. Delusion and reality, I'm somewhere in between. These voices in my head get loud and they keep telling me that I'm a fool for trusting in these wings. But maybe, baby, this what flying feels like. Maybe, baby, this what flying feels like. Skydiving totally changed my life in like a
total 180. Like, I had no idea what I wanted to do. Now, in just like a year, I've learned so much and found so much that I'm interested in. There's just a ton of opportunities within the sport to do so many different things. Like, I've started making jumpsuits and pants for skydiving. I'm gonna be turning it into a business, and there's just so many different things that skydiving has opened in my life for me. I've found a way to kind of create my life around it so I can continue to live every day with passion and like focusing on the things that make me happy.
I have no idea exactly where I'll end up, but I'm never leaving.
We've just gotten to laugh and learn and grow together. I've made some lifelong friends. Just going through the progressions with these other girls has been the highlight of my summer.
I never thought that I could jump out of an airplane. And knowing now where I've come, it makes me realize that any of us can do it. And I hope that our story inspires somebody else to step out of their comfort zone and give it a shot.
Get so high.
Yeah, Karina.
Try to fly.
That was amazing, Amy. Well done.
Got so high.
Cameraman.